Welcome to Amberg Acres. So we got a pretty good sized log on the mill here today. Let me check what this is here. This one's about 24 one way and 21 the other way, so it's kind of oval shaped on that end, on the big end down there. So what I want to do is I want to make 2x8s. So one of the drawbacks of a smaller saw, and I don't quote me on this because I don't know what all the dimensions are on all the other saws that are out there, but this particular saw only has a 7-inch throat. Okay, so I cannot machine down 8 inches. So let's look at the end of the slog here and I'll explain it better. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see this marker, but so what I had originally thought to do was to slice this off. So if I took a slice here and then I come down here another 8 inches and take a slice, then I could stand this up and cut this into boards. The problem is I can't cut that 8 inches. I can't do it with this saw. All right. So how do you cut this log up that you can use it and get as much wood out of it as you can? So what I am going to do is I'm going to try and lay it down, try and turn it a little bit so that I'm cutting a long way. I'm going to cut my 8 inches here, right? This way. So I'm going to take slabs. I'm going to take 2-inch slabs. I'm going to take 2-inch slabs off of both of these sides here. Okay. So then later on, I can take them 2-inch slabs and I can stand them up and I can come down 4 inches and I can cut 2x4s out of it. All right. So I don't really know how many I would get here, but you could probably get maybe six 2x4s per side, and then I still got my 8-inch cant out of the middle, which I will also stand up, and then I will just start slicing 2 inches all the way down. Okay, that's how I'm going to do it, to try and get as much yield out of this log as possible. And that's the only way you can do it, really. I don't know if you can't cut an 8-inch depth, you can't do it the way I originally intended. But that should work. That should keep my grain somewhat going the right way on all of these boards, you know, because you got to watch for that too. If you cut the grain the wrong way, you throw the board on the ground, it's just going to break in half because the grain's going to be wrong. So you got to watch that also. So hopefully I can get, 6, 8. I think the other day we cut one up similar to this size and we got about 8 2x8s out of it. All right, so I got this one. I got a bigger one laying over here that's a little bit bigger than this. It's the bottom half of this tree. This was a pretty good sized tree out there, one of them giant white pines. So that one there I'm pretty sure I'll get 8 out of it. Not sure on this one exactly what I'll get, because the other end is the log is tapered, and that one there is fairly straight, but then you get up higher up on the tree and it tapers quite a bit. So we're at 24 here, the long way here. We're at 19 over there. So that's almost a 5-inch difference from one end to the other. So that cuts down what you can get out of this log, So all right, so we're gonna roll this a little bit. So we can slab the slabs here on the longer side, and then we'll get cutting. All right, be back in a minute. So I got the log turned best I can. That my long way is this way. Got the engine fired up. It's warming up a little bit, and we're gonna start sawing this up. measuring that piece of scrap there, I'm measuring it so it fits in my logging trailer over there. And it also makes it easier for me to lift it in 2 halves instead of 1. So I ended up taking 2 1-inch slices and a 2-inch slice off of here. And the reason I did that was because it was too narrow yet to really stand it up and get 2x4s out of it. So this one here I could stand up and get at least 3 probably out of there, you know. So we're gonna flip this over and mill the other side and get down to our 8-inch camp that we want. All right, the log is flipped over, and I marked my end over there, so I know where my 8 inches is going to be at, and it looks about the same. Like I'll get a couple of slices and then 1 2-inch slab. It's really deceiving because the log is so tapered. Well, we'll see when we get the next one up there if it does a better job, but it's so deceiving. Looking at this end, you looks like you can get, you know, at least 2 big slabs out of there, and it's just not coming out that way because the log is so, you know, uneven. But we'll slice her, we'll see what we get. pretty much one cut fills this bucket. So you gotta dump it every time, otherwise you got the stuff all over the ground. You know, those are such beautiful looking slabs. You hate to just cut them down into boards, you know, but I got quite a few slabs here already, so I don't know what I'm going to do with all these slabs yet. I have a few ideas, but I got all that other stuff to cut over there, so I think I'll just try cutting these into 2x4s and see what they look like. Just so I know for future reference what I can do with this wood. All right, so we're gonna get this slab off here, and then we'll stand it up on end, and we'll start cutting our 2x8s. So there's a pretty big dip in this log right here, so we're gonna lose quite a bit on this first cut, but it is what it is. You know, you gotta get the log straight. So we'll see. I'll probably take a couple of little shavings because otherwise it's too heavy to lift. So I'll get down there, and then we'll start cutting. Here is cleaned up now on this end, but the rest of it isn't in the middle there, so I'm going to drop it down 2 inches, so at least I would get a smaller, you know, like a 4-foot 2x8 there. So I got a real nasty knot right here in the middle. So I'm gonna flip this over and start milling my slice from the other side. Got her flipped up. Same thing, this has a big dip in it over here, so we'll probably get a chunk off of here, another 2-inch chunk there that's only 4 feet or 5 feet. But we're trying to save as much as we can. There's our 8-inch cant. Any guesses on how many we're going to get out of there? I'm guessing about 8 because that's what we got the other day. This is pretty much the same size, I think. We'll see. Here we go. Well guys, I was off just a little bit. We got 7 and we got a piece of like 1/2 inch here. It's nice to know that you can cut it that thin and it turns out halfway decent. Because I'd like to take, you know, maybe square up a few 8-inch cants, you know, and let them dry. And then once we get the inside of the barn done, I want to use that and just do like a rough siding, a rough sawn siding on the walls and finish it off that way. And I think, you know, 1/2 inch thick like that would be perfect. You'd get a whole lot of pieces out of one cant, and I think that would be nice in there, you know, would make it look nice. And then just go back, let it dry for a while, and then stain it, you know. But we'll see, you know. It's all in a day's work, right? All right, we're done with this one. We're gonna get that next big one loaded up, and we're gonna cut that one up and see what we get out of that one. Well guys, now you know why I bought a tractor that can lift 2,000 pounds. Because that was about all it could lift. I had to actually get the bucket as high as I could and then tilt it to curl it, and that's the only way I could get that up on there. So if you don't have something to lift the logs, you're pretty much screwed as far as what you can put on the sawmill. But that's about the max for my tractor right there. I mean, it's struggled with that. Different wood, obviously. An oak is going to be way smaller than that even, because oak weighs a lot more than white pine. And these are all green logs. They haven't been sitting very long, so you know they're pretty heavy. Once they would dry out, they'd be a lot lighter. But I struggled getting that one out of the woods yesterday, it took me all afternoon just to get these 3 pieces up here that I got. I couldn't get it up the hill. I just was spinning, you know, getting up the hill, so I kind of had to drag it end to end up the hill. And once I got up into the field with it, I was fine. You know, then I could lift it and I could drive with it. But yeah, it's right at the limit for that tractor. So, you know, if you're out there looking for a tractor, you need to know how much it can lift, because those little John Deeres, that 20, whatever it was, a 2025 John Deere, ain't gonna lift this. It ain't even gonna come close. So just keep that in mind, all right? So we're gonna saw this one up. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.